Good afternoon. Welcome to my video. Today I am going to talk about one of the most important period in the history of English literature, the Old English Age, also known as the Anglo-Saxon Age. When we study English literature, we usually start with the Old English period because it represents the beginning of English literary history. The Old English Age began around 215 AD and continued until 1066 AD. During this period, England was influenced by Germanic tribes such as the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. Their language gradually developed into what we now call Old English. So in this video we will learn about the history, language, literature, important writers and the end of the Anglo-Saxon age. So first let's understand the historical background. After the Romans left Britain, the country became politically unstable. During this time, Germanic tribes called the Angles, Saxons and Jutes come to Britain from northern Europe. They settled in different parts of the country and established several small kingdoms. Their society was struggling, connected with kings, warriors, battles, loyalty and honor. The king was an important figure and warriors were accepted to remain loyal to their lord. Another major change came with the arrival of Christianity. Gradually, Christianity became an important part of Anglo-Saxon society. This change also influenced literature. Therefore, Old English literature contained both heroic traditions and Christian ideas. Now let's talk about the language. The language of the period was called Old English. Old English is very different from the English we speak today. For example, modern English has many words from French, Latin and other language, but the Old English developed mainly from Germanic languages. In the beginning, literature was mostly oral. Stories and poems were not written down. Instead, they were memorized and performed by poets called scopes. Later, Christian monks and scholars began writing these stories and poems in manuscripts. That is why many Old English literary works have survived to us today. Now let's look at some important features of Old English literature. The first important feature in heroism. Anglo-Saxon literature often present brave warriors who fight against enemies and dangerous creatures. The second feature is loyalty. A warrior was accepted to be loyal to his king or lord. Loyalty was considered an important virtue. The third feature is faith. The Anglo-Saxons believed strongly in fate, which they called wild. They believed that human beings could not completely control their destiny. Another important feature is religion. After Christianity spread, Christians' ideas become an important part of literature. Old English literature also contained many descriptions of war, battles, death, nature, God and evil, honor and courage. Now we talk about most famous work of English literature, Beowulf. Beowulf is an epic poem of more than 3000 lines. The name of the original poet is unknown, so we usually call the author is Beowulf poet. The poem tells us the story of Beowulf, a brave warrior from the Geats. Beowulf travels to Denmark to help King Hrothgar. King Hrothgar's kingdom is being attacked by a terrible monster called Grendel. Beowulf fights Grendel and defends him. Later, Beowulf also fights Grendel's mother. Many years later, Beowulf becomes a king. When he is an old man, he fights a dragon to protect his people. Beowulf defends the dragon, but he dies after the battle. The story shows us the qualities of an ideal Anglo-Saxon hero. Beowulf is brave, strong, loyal, and self sacrificing. The poem also deals with important themes such as heroism, loyalty, fame, fate, good and evil, and death. Now we talk about important poets and their works. There are survival important names connected with Old English literature. The first is Caedmon. Caedmon is considered one of the earliest known English poets. His famous work is Caedmon's Hymen, a religious poem praising God. Another important poet is Snæfell. Works associated with Snæfell include Elaine and Juliana. Another important work is The Dream of the Rood. It is a Christian poem about the crucifixion of Christ. We should also remember that many Old English works are anonymous, meaning that we do not know the name of their original authors. Now, Old English literature was not only poetry. Prose also developed during this period. King Alfred the Great played an important role in education and learning. He encouraged the translation of important Latin works into Old English. Another important work is the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. It records important events in English history and gives us valuable information about Anglo-Saxon society. These periods ended. The Anglo-Saxon age came to an end in 1066. In the year, William, Duke of Normandy, invaded England. He defended King Hordle II at the Battle of Hastings. This event is known as the Norman Conquest. After the Norman Conquest, French became an important language among the ruling classes. English continued to develop and gradually change from Old English into Middle English. Thus, 1066 mark an important turning point in the history of English literature. So, to conclude, the Old English or Anglo-Saxon age is the foundation of English literature. It introduced important literary themes such as heroism, bravery, loyalty, fate, religion, honor, good, and evil. The greatest work of this period is Beowulf, which continues to be studied even today. Writers such as Caedmon and Snæfell, along with works such as Caedmon's Hymen, The Dream of the Rood, and the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, help us understand the literature and culture of this important period. Although Old English is very different from modern English, it is important because it shows us where English literature began. Thank you for watching my video.